So I wanted to talk a little bit about Tantra and Shibari and how you can incorporate Tantric practices and philosophies into Shibari. So obviously they're very different traditions, different parts of the world, etc. But the tantric philosophies and key teachings and wisdom can definitely be brought into your shibari and rope play. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the main key philosophies and practices that I have found have linked with shibari and exploring also just all of the realms of conscious kink and BDSM play. So the first thing is around awakening. So one of the main parts of Tantra is about awakening into your true essence and the true nature of reality, that you are not who you think you are not your ego, that you are total presence and consciousness. And I've found that both being a top and being a bottom in rope, I've really had these moments of being egoless and liberated, and had some really deep kind of experiences of really awakening through this kind of play. And it can be really profound to be separated from your day-to-day thinking and your idea of your sense of self and who you perceive yourself to be. It can be really amazing to let that go, even just in this kind of container of this rope experience, and to just be pure presence and energy and sensation, and be really in touch with your body. The next one is liberation. So liberating yourself from social conditioning and all the aspects of who you think that you are. So this also goes hand in hand with the awakening of getting out of your ideas of your sense of self. What is, like I used to think that I was a sub and that's who I was, and through exploring tying people I realized that there was this kind of dominant side, and there was this little kind of sadistic side, and there's this sensual high priestess side as well. Like there's all these different aspects that I had not necessarily explored before. So I was able to liberate myself from the structure, the bound that I'd put on my identity as a sexual being, and kind of expand that. It's also really powerful, because kink and BDSM are kind of socially unacceptable things. So by coming into the truth of what we want to explore and what's right for us, we're liberating ourselves from the conditioning of what other people have said is an okay thing to do, is appropriate sexuality. So just by engaging in these kind of like taboo things, then we're liberating ourselves from the kind of constriction of society and all those kind of bounds that are put on us as beings. Also by exploring things like pain and surrender and domination and submission and all these kind of aspects that are kind of considered shadow, by giving ourselves space and permission to explore roles that we don't necessarily think that we always agree on. Like I'm a hardcore feminist, and then to give myself permission to explore being degraded and things like that can be very liberating, because then it really makes me question, like, what, is a certain thing always bad? Is a certain thing always right? All these kind of like deep aspects. So as well as what is appropriate. Different body positions can bring up shame or judgment or all these different kind of self-reflections. Like the first time I got tied was a massive liberation experience, when I was at a play party and being tied and surrendering to what was pleasurable for me in the moment, and letting go of these ideas that, like, I'm not one of those girls, I'm not someone that would do that, I'm not this, I am this. These kind of, this construction of an ego of who I thought I was. When I surrendered that, I felt a massive liberation of like, oh, I don't actually know who I am and I can be everything. So yeah, there can be some really profound experiences, and through bondage finding liberation and freedom. And the last aspect is that there's consciousness in everything. So the rope itself has a consciousness, the experience, whatever we're creating, whatever energy that we're bringing into it, whether it's like playful or sensual or deep or emotional release, like there's a consciousness to this experience. So bringing your conscious awareness and intention into whatever you're doing can be divine. Like Tantra was created to be a householder path so that people could find spiritual liberation, even with a job and a family, that they didn't have to go sit up in the mountain and meditate their way into liberation, that you were able to bring consciousness and intention and awareness to like every aspect of your life, including sexuality. And, you know, there were often some reports in history of some of the Tantra lineages doing rituals involving pain and meditating on pain and bringing conscious awareness to, different kind of experiences like that. So I think, you know, if a lot of the old school Tantra lineages, if they were alive right now, they would definitely be using Shibari. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of form of bondage used as a practice of consciousness and liberation back in those times. But obviously, because it was a few thousand years ago, that we only know certain bits and pieces of what were in the scriptures and writings. But yeah, it's really interesting. So some other practices from Tantra that you can bring in, it's this, like I said, with the consciousness, like having these moments while you're in the experience of bringing consciousness to the fact that you are conscious, to the energy that is being created in this space. So if you're being tied, to explore recognizing in yourself that like I am a being having the experience of being tied, also going fully in and becoming the experience, like merging with the experience of being tied and whatever sensations and stuff that you're exploring. And then also coming into this witness consciousness of like, I am conscious of the fact that I am having this experience, and, able to witness yourself from another kind of layer. Bringing breath into the play is really important. So I talk about this in some of the connecting exercises and stuff, but coming into your breath and into your sensations and into your body will really help you get out of your mind and get out of the cage of your mind. So if you feel any emotions or things coming up, any shame or resistance or judgment and things like that, it's just like breathing into it and allowing it to liberate. So, really just allowing whatever is arising, whatever emotions, whatever feelings, thoughts, whatever, and just seeing the consciousness and the divinity in them. Bringing breath and coming back to the sensations and trying to drop deeper. Bringing meditation in and really, taking the time to feel all the sensations, to even try to feel like the divine consciousness in the experience that's being created can be super powerful. Bringing in sound, like liberating sounds. This also, is really beautiful for the person who's tying. So if you're being tied and you're sounding and you're allowing these the liberation of your voice, then it also gives the person tying a lot more feedback and a lot more to work with. So I really love when someone is making some sounds, I can kind of gauge where they're at and move with them and that kind of sound vibrational energy. So there's lots of other different practices, like circulating your energy and moving energy through you or through the person that you're tying, like really feeling the rope as the conscious entity that it is, and exploring when you're using the rope that you're sending energy through the rope and things like that can also be super powerful. And witnessing these kind of altered states of consciousness and how powerfully deep and divine they can be, this sense of surrender and surrendering to the experience, fully surrendering to each other, seeing that you and this person that you're tying with, that you are the same being, that you are essentially the same consciousness and the same energy that is the entire universe, and that you're two of the same thing kind of coming and dancing and playing together and creating this like unique, one of a kind experience. So yeah, I just thought, I've been obviously studying a lot of Tantra lately, and Tantric philosophy and wisdom, and really exploring this connection, and some of the experiences that I've had in the past with Shibari, and how deeply tantric they were in their essence. Even when I didn't really know that much about Tantra, I still had some pretty profound kind of experiences. So I just wanted to share that to give a little bit of inspiration for you on your rope journey. So this talk was from my Essential Ropes online course, The Art of Conscious Bondage. So if you found this interesting, if you're wanting to learn more about conscious, deep, intimate, sensual rope play, then check out my course and come join us.